A trade that nobody in the Windy City saw coming just exploded onto the market, and Ryan Poles has the pieces to close it right now. An all-pro defensive tackle from the New York Giants just demanded his way out, and if the Bears don't pick up that phone in the next few hours, another franchise will. This is not a rumor. This is a window that opens once, and the impact he would have in the middle of Chicago's defense alongside Montez Sweat is exactly what Dennis Allen needs to build something real on this side of the ball. But while that's blowing up on the outside, there's a parallel move happening inside Halas Hall that almost nobody is covering. The most famous edge rusher on the market already has that door slammed shut in Cleveland, and it turns out the plan B, sitting on that same Browns roster, is an edge rusher with a cap hit the Bears can absorb without giving up a single first-round pick. Smarter than anything the analysts are giving Poles credit for right now. And just when you thought the Bears offseason couldn't get any more interesting, the most explosive running back in the NFL just sent a message to the Miami Dolphins that changes everything. A connection inside Chicago's own coaching staff to that player suggests Poles has been playing chess for weeks on a board the rest of the NFC North still cannot see. Hit that like button if you trust the process, and subscribe to the Real Bear Nation because this is just getting started. Look, I know everybody in Bear Country is locked in on edge rusher, edge this, edge that, and it makes total sense. Day Bears finished with just 35 sacks last season, tied for 24th in the league in quarterback pressure. That is unacceptable for a team trying to compete. But here's the thing, while everybody's been staring at the perimeter looking for a defensive end, one of the best interior pass rushers in the entire NFL just put himself on the market, and I don't think enough people in the Windy City are talking about this loud enough. Dexter Lawrence, two-time All-Pro, 7-year veteran, a defensive tackle who pushes the pocket like a freight train and can wreck a passing game from the inside out. The man had 6.5 sacks in 2023 playing as a pure interior tackle, and now he has officially requested a trade from the New York Giants. Why? Because contract extension talks broke down. Dexter wanted to be paid like the best interior lineman in football. The Giants, in the middle of their own organizational rebuild, were not willing to meet that number. And now here we are with one of the most dominant defensive tackles of his generation sitting on the trading block. And Kevin Patra of NFL.com is saying directly that the Bears should make that call. Here's why this makes so much sense for Chicago. The Bears have a massive hole at the interior of their defensive line. They have not added a genuine difference maker at that position this offseason, and when you drop a penetrating interior tackle into Dennis Allen's system, listen man, Allen spent years in New Orleans building defenses that used interior pressure to create angles on the outside. When your interior is collapsing the pocket from the middle, your edge rushers don't need to win as often. You're getting free looks. You're disrupting timing. You're changing the entire calculation of how offenses plan against you. Dexter Lawrence in the middle, Montez Sweat on the edge, and a young pass rusher developing on the other side. Bro, that's starting to look like a real defense. Now, what are the obstacles? Cap space and trade price. The Bears currently have just $243,000 in available cap space. That is less than what some people spend on a car. But here is the thing, and Patra said it himself, teams can create cap space when they want to. The Bears have contracts that can be restructured. They have pieces they can move. And in terms of draft compensation, Chicago has 2 second-round picks in 2026 that could form a real package. They would not have to touch their first-round pick at number 25. The bigger question is Lawrence's contract demands. We're probably talking $22 to $25 million per season for a two-time All-Pro interior rusher in today's market. Can the Bears commit to that? Ryan Poles has shown he's not afraid to make aggressive moves when he believes in a player. He restructured aggressively to keep this roster together. He's made bold calls before, and if your goal is to maximize the window you have right now with Caleb Williams, Dexter Lawrence is not a luxury, he's a necessity. Look, I could be wrong, but the image of Lawrence lined up next to Montez Sweat in Allen's system has me genuinely losing it a little. One concern, his run defense production dipped last year in New York. But beat reporters covering that Giants locker room made it clear all season that the problem was never Lawrence. It was the organizational chaos surrounding him. In a stable environment with better players around him and a coach who knows how to use him, that run defense comes back. Poles knows this. If the Bears walk out of April without solving this defensive line, all eyes are going to circle back to Lawrence, and by then, the price might be higher. The window to act is now. Pick up the phone, Ryan. Let's be real for a second about Myles Garrett, because I know some of you are still holding on to hope, and I need to bring you back down to earth. Browns general manager Andrew Berry stepped to the podium at the NFL annual meeting and said it as clearly as you can say something. If we wanted to trade Myles, we wouldn't have needed to make a contract adjustment, and then he added, Myles is a career Brown. He is one of the faces of our organization. Man, that is not negotiating language. That is a closed door, bolted shut, with a sign on it that says, don't even knock. And I get the temptation, I really do. This man broke the single-season sack record with 23 sacks in 2025. He won his second straight Defensive Player of the Year. He has 125.5 sacks in 9 seasons, second in history only behind Hall of Famer Reggie White. In that same time span, if the Bears landed Myles Garrett, the defense would be elite overnight. The pressure Caleb Williams faces every game would decrease dramatically. The entire complexion of this team changes, but he's not available, and spending energy building trade scenarios around Garrett for this offseason is time you could be spending elsewhere. Close that chapter for now. So what is available? Isaiah McGuire out of Cleveland. And before you check out on me, stay right here. McGuire carries just $3.6 million in cap hit. He's in the final year of his rookie deal. The Browns already have Alex Wright penciled in to start opposite Garrett, and they're likely going to add another edge rusher in the middle rounds of this draft. That makes McGuire the odd man out in Cleveland and a potential trade chip for a team like Chicago that needs rotation depth badly. What do the Bears actually get? A guy who played all 17 games last season, made 8 starts and posted 8 tackles for loss, 6 quarterback hits, and 2 sacks from a rotation role. His run defense grade on Pro Football Focus was 75.5. That ranked 13th among 115 eligible edge rushers. The man is solid against the run, and he's only missed 5 tackles in 3 years in this league. That's real, consistent, reliable play. Look, McGuire is not Myles Garrett. Nobody said he was, but compared to what the Bears currently have cycling through their edge rotation, which includes Dayo Odeyingbo and Austin Booker, McGuire is a genuine upgrade, and in Dennis Allen's system, where deep rotation and pressure from multiple alignments is central to how you build a pass rush, having a quality player in that 4 and 5 role matters more than people realize. And on the draft side, Trey Moore out of Texas is someone to watch. The man jumped 38.5 inches at the combine vertical, had 22 sacks in 2 seasons at UTSA before his year at Texas, and is flying under the radar as a mid-round edge prospect with a deep bag of pass rush moves. He's not a finished product, but he's the type of developmental piece you build with. The 3-layer plan for this Bears pass rush looks like this. Trade for McGuire and get a reliable rotation vet right now. Draft an edge rusher like Moore for the future. And if Dexter Lawrence ends up available, make that call too. That is the real blueprint. That is how you build a pass rush the right way in this league. And now, the rumor that has all of Bear Country dreaming this week, Devon Achane did not show up to the Dolphins' voluntary offseason workouts. Dolphins head coach Jeff Hafley confirmed it on Tuesday. Achane wants a new contract. Miami is in full teardown mode after parting ways with Tua Tagovailoa, Jalen Waddle, and Tyreek Hill. And suddenly, the most explosive running back in football is floating out there in the wind. 1,350 rushing yards in 2025. 12 touchdowns for the 3rd straight season, over 1,800 scrimmage yards, first career Pro Bowl. The man is 24 years old and operating at his absolute peak. And yes, Bears fans want this man. Y'all don't understand how much I feel that energy, because the image of Achane running routes in Ben Johnson's offense is genuinely too beautiful to process. Caleb Williams under center, play action fake, Achane leaking out to the flat with wide receiver speed, Colston Loveland running the seam. Fam, that is a next level offense, but here is the reality check. The Bears have $243,000 in available cap space right now. If they trade DeAndre Swift as part of the deal, they free up roughly $7.4 million. That helps. but Achane is projected to command north of $12 million per season on his next contract, and Miami would want at minimum a second-round pick plus Swift to move a player of this caliber. Is it possible? Yes. Is it the smartest move, given that the Bears' most urgent need is fixing a defensive line that ranked 23rd in points allowed last season? That is the real debate. Here's the detail that caught my eye, though. The Bears hired Eric Stoodsville as their running backs coach this offseason, the same coach who worked with Achane in Miami during all 3 of his first years in the league. Look, I could be wrong, but that is not a coincidence. That's Poles playing three-dimensional chess. Stoodsville knows exactly how to deploy Achane's skill set, and Achane knows and trusts Stoodsville. That relationship means something in a trade negotiation. Kyle Monangai proved he's a physical, effective back. Last season, Swift had the best season of his career with Johnson running the offense. The backfield is already good. Achane would make it elite. The question is whether Chicago can afford to chase offensive firepower while simultaneously trying to perform emergency surgery on a defense that desperately needs it. My take, fix the defense first. Then if the Achane window is still open midseason or heading into next year, you revisit it. But as a fan, of course I want Achane in navy and orange. Who wouldn't? Here's what I love about this moment for the Chicago Bears. We are not talking about rebuilding anymore. We are talking about how to build a roster to compete for a Super Bowl with Caleb Williams running this offense. The problems we have right now are good problems to have. Dexter Lawrence available, Achane floating, draft capital in the bank, Poles with moves to make. This was not Chicago 3 years ago. The draft is 2 weeks away. Hollis Hall is working, and we are going to be right here breaking down every single move with you. If this breakdown hit different today, drop that like right now. It helps the channel and keeps us in the trenches with you every single day. And tell me down below, do the Bears go get Dexter Lawrence, take an edge in the draft, or do you shoot for the moon and try to land Achane? The debate belongs to you. Bear down, fam. Bear down.